saw her body on the floor.
What did you do?
I went inside the room. I saw the towel that was on her hand, and the blankets were wrapped up around her.
Celeste Mays finding the body of her mother, domestic violence survivor and advocate Kelly Mays, in her Westland apartment Sunday night. She had been stabbed
to death multiple times by her husband.
My twin. I don't care what argument or disagreement occurred that day. There's no argument or disagreement you should state that justified these acts.
Funny, I really didn't lose my wallet. Funny, I didn't have enough money to fill my car and my child's belly. Funny how life is. Keep writing, you will get to funny. Keep laughing. Laughter is the only thing that will make this poem funny.
I believe he might have even loved her. I don't know. You know, he seemed like he did. But I don't know why people do horrific things like that.
Celeste Mays knew something was wrong before she opened the door. It was Sunday evening, January 7th, 2024, McKinney Drive, Westland, Michigan. Her mother's apartment should have felt familiar. The same furniture, the same walls, the same quiet sounds of home. But the silence that greeted her was wrong. Not peaceful, not calm. The kind of silence that makes your skin tighten. The kind that tells you something terrible has already happened. Celeste stepped inside. The living room, the hallway, each step heavier than the last. And then, the bedroom. Her mother was on the floor, collapsed, blood everywhere. 17 stab wounds, to the neck, to the chest. Celeste didn't scream. She didn't run. Her body moved on instinct. She reached down, touched her mother's foot. She needed to know. She needed to be sure. It was cold. Later, she would tell Fox 2 Detroit. The woman lying there was Kelly Ann Mays, 49 years old, a licensed therapist, a domestic violence advocate, a woman who had spent her life helping others escape violence, only to be killed by it. The man who murdered her was Jimmy Lee Brown, the man she had loved. But this story didn't begin that night. It began 14 years earlier, when Celeste was just 13 years old and had to save her mother's life for the first time. The first time she saved her mother, 2010. Celeste was 13 when she realized she might have to choose between her mother and her own survival. 13, an age meant for homework, friendships, crushes. Instead, Celeste was learning the sound of arguments turning violent, the feeling of holding your breath while voices rise downstairs, the fear of watching someone you love disappear inside someone else's rage. Kelly was in a relationship then, with the father of Celeste's younger sister, and it was destroying her. It was 2010. Celeste's baby sister was turning 1, a first birthday, a moment meant for joy. Instead, it became a breaking point. The man refused to help, refused to show up, and when Kelly confronted him, the argument turned violent. Kelly ended up in the hospital. Celeste stayed home, alone, with a baby, and the certainty that this couldn't continue. When Kelly returned, bandaged, exhausted, pretending everything would be fine, Celeste said something no 13-year-old should ever have to say. "If you don't leave him, I'm going to live with my father." Years later, Kelly would remember that moment clearly. "My oldest daughter was waiting for me. She said she would leave if I didn't break up with my boyfriend." Celeste gave her mother something she couldn't give herself: permission. "Mom, I can't do this," Celeste said. "I can't watch you suffer anymore." Imagine being 13 and telling your mother you'll walk away to save yourself. Imagine carrying that fear, that guilt, that risk. But Kelly listened. She later explained what kept her trapped. "As a Black woman, I felt I had to make it work. I had to make it work with my Black man. Culture, pressure, shame. All of it collapsed when she looked at her daughter. "I chose my baby," Kelly said, "and I left." At 13 years old, Celeste saved her mother's life. After that, Kelly transformed. She became a licensed therapist, a poet, performing under the name Native Child, a speaker for Haven, helping survivors across Metro Detroit.
Relationship.
I was in a relationship with my youngest child's father, and the culmination of the relationship, on her first birthday, I was assaulted and hospitalized from the assault.
She turned pain into purpose. She stood in rooms full of strangers and said, "You are not alone. You deserve to live." And Celeste watched her mother become someone who saved others. The ultimatum worked. Kelly had a second life. Then, she met Jimmy Lee Brown.
And say, "But I love you. Can you please wear sunscreen? Because I think it's really, really important." And he's going to wear sunscreen. There you go.
Celeste doesn't remember exactly when Jimmy entered their lives. What she remembers is how he made her feel. Safe, seen, loved. Jimmy Lee Brown, also known as Supa MC, was part of Detroit's hip-hop scene. A local name, a performer, and to Celeste, he became Dad. He showed up. Birthdays, proms, graduations. For years, they looked like a family. Kelly and Jimmy married around 2015. Photos, trips, smiles. And maybe, for a while, it was real.
Come on, man. We got some of the toughest old folks in our family. They don't wear no damn sunscreen. What are you talking? Man, no way. No way. My granddaddy was working in the heat. My grandma working in the heat. They ain't had no sunscreen. They was working. They was getting it in. Like, go in the kitchen and get the
Me and my husband are the same color. Look at us. We the same color.
We sure is.
We the same color. I'm dark, just like my husband. I got the melanin.
You have a dark mind.
I hate you. He gonna still wear the sunscreen. I don't know what he's talking about. He mad. I always win the arguments because, I'm the wife, I'm prettier, and I just show him my boobs and I win the argument.
It was a
Then, in October 2020, everything changed. Jimmy was in a near-fatal car accident, a traumatic brain injury, a coma. When he woke up, he didn't recognize himself, didn't recognize Kelly, didn't recognize his life. Later, he described the darkness. Imagine space with no stars, folded over itself. The story became inspirational, recovery, resilience. But inside the home, something shifted. Arguments turned sharp. The air grew heavy. Celeste noticed it. Her younger sister noticed it. They begged their mother to leave. Again. And Celeste felt it. That horrible sense of déjà vu. She had been here before. Only this time, she wasn't sure her mother would survive it. At the beginning of 2024, Kellyanne Mays made a decision. She told Jimmy Lee Brown she was done. After years together, after marriage, after trying, she was leaving. For Celeste, the news came with two emotions at once: relief and fear. Because Celeste knew something most people don't learn until it's too late. The most dangerous moment in an abusive relationship isn't when you're in it. It's when you leave. Kelly knew that too. She had spent years teaching it, standing on stages, warning women, have a safety plan, don't go back. Kelly was a licensed therapist, a domestic violence advocate, but knowledge doesn't make you immune. At first, the separation looked calm. No restraining order, no public fights. They stayed in contact, logistics, loose ends. From the outside, nothing looked wrong. But Celeste lived inside that house. She felt the shift. Jimmy's presence grew heavier. his moods darker. There had been violence before, a history never fully made public. But Celeste and her sister knew. They had lived it. January 2024 felt like a fresh start, a new year, a clean break. Kelly believed she was safe. She wasn't. Sunday, January 7th, 2024. Celeste doesn't say much about the hours before she came home, because those details don't matter. What matters is the moment she walked through the door. The lights were on, but the apartment felt wrong, empty in a way that had nothing to do with being alone. She called out. No answer. She walked down the hallway, and then the bedroom. Her mother was on the floor, blood everywhere. 17 stab wounds. This wasn't chaos. This was rage, control. The final act of someone who believed, if I can't have you, no one can. Celeste reached down, touched her mother's foot. Cold. She called 911. Police arrived around 6:15 p.m. They confirmed what Celeste already knew. Kelly Ann Mays was dead. Hours later, Jimmy Lee Brown walked into the Westland Police Department. He turned himself in. No chase, no denial. The Wayne County prosecutor charged him with first-degree murder, and Celeste was left standing in the ruins of her life, trying to understand how the man she called Dad had murdered her mother. I hate him now, she said, and he is no father of mine. But hatred doesn't erase trauma. It doesn't remove the image of that bedroom. It doesn't undo what came next. Celeste's younger sister was 14 years old. 14. The same age Celeste had been when she first realized her mother needed saving. Only this time, there was no saving her. And suddenly, Celeste wasn't just grieving, she was parenting. Now I gotta fend for my sister, Celeste said. She's 14, and it's a lot of responsibility. A lot of responsibility. That phrase doesn't come close. Celeste had found her mother's body, touched her cold skin. She was having nightmares every time she slept, and still, she had to make sure her sister ate, went to school, felt safe. How do you explain to a teenager that the man who showed up to birthdays killed your mother? How do you grieve when someone else needs you to be strong? There's no manual for this. No guide for becoming an orphan and a guardian at the same time. Kelly's parents were devastated. Her father, Ralph Mays, said simply, everybody loved her. But the loss didn't stop there. In January 2025, just days after the first anniversary of Kelly's death, Kelly's mother died. The grief was too much. It overwhelmed her, Ralph said. That was her rock. So Celeste lost her mother, then her grandmother. Two women who should have been there to help her survive this moment. Gone. And Celeste was left holding her sister's hand, trying to figure out how to move forward when the ground beneath them had vanished.
If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Your support doesn't just help us tell more stories, it helps ensure these lives are never forgotten.
Around the world. So how can you help? That's a great question. You can help by joining me April 26, 2023 by wearing denim to protest the misconceptions surrounding sexual violence and to support survivors like me. And if you can, take a pic in your denim and share your photos online using the hashtag
relationship.
I was in a relationship with my youngest child's father, and the culmination of the relationship, on her first birthday, I was assaulted and hospitalized from the assault.
But one thing moved forward, whether Celeste was ready or not: the legal process. On January 10th, 2024, 3 days after Kelly was killed, Jimmy Lee Brown was arraigned in Westland, charged with first-degree murder. Life in prison if convicted. The prosecutor laid out the facts. Cold, clinical. Kellyanne Mays was found in her bedroom with multiple lacerations to her neck and chest. Multiple. As if that word could describe 17 stab wounds. Brown fled the scene, then turned himself in. The wheels of justice turned, slowly. But justice felt abstract to Celeste. What sentence brings back a mother? Kelly's death made headlines, not just because of the brutality, but because of who she was. A domestic violence advocate killed by her husband. The irony was impossible to ignore. Vigils were held, candles lit. Survivors stepped forward, one after another, saying the same thing. "Your mother saved my life." Her father, Ralph Mays, said, "She lived to help people. Her life was around her children. She was always a listening ear." Kelly the therapist, Kelly the poet, Kelly the advocate. But to Celeste, she was mom. The woman who listened when she was 13. The woman who left because her daughter asked her to live. And now, she was gone. In February 2025, more than a year later, Jimmy Lee Brown pleaded guilty. Not to first-degree murder, but to second-degree. There would be no trial, no crime scene photos in open court, no reliving every detail. The sentencing took place on March 10th. In the courtroom, Brown spoke.
Jimmy struggled with a brain injury after a car accident in 2020.
I wish I could say I'm sorry a million times, and each time brings Kelly back. I have the greatest sympathy for this entire family.
Let somebody know. I never knew she was having a problem. He came to this house here. I didn't know that, I didn't know they was having issues, so I would have never let him in.
Not talking, he says, could be a matter of life or death.
If I had to do it again, my daughter would still be alive. Maybe, yeah. That was my baby.
If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Your support doesn't just help us tell more stories. It helps ensure these lives are never forgotten.
I wish I could say I'm sorry a million times and bring Kelly back. Sorry. A word too small for what he'd done. The judge was firm. There is no argument that justifies these acts. Kelly's twin sister Stacy spoke through tears. I always received "Happy birthday, twin A," and I would reply, "Happy birthday, twin B." Two lives that began together. Now only one remained. The sentence was read. 18 to 40 years. Parole possible after 18. Ralph Mays said, "If she's okay with it, I'm okay with it. Personally, I wish they gave him life." Celeste accepted the sentence, not because it was enough, because nothing ever would be. After the sentencing, life didn't get easier. It just got quieter. Celeste became the parent. Homework, bills, doctor appointments, all while managing her own trauma. She found her mother's body. That image doesn't fade. Every anniversary hurts. January 7th will never be just another day. And then, she lost her grandmother, too. The grief spread, like shockwaves. Domestic violence doesn't take one life. It destroys families. Act 11. The question that haunts. There's a question Celeste probably asks herself in the dark. What if I had pushed harder? What if I had come home earlier? But the truth is, Celeste did everything right. She spoke up. She warned her mother. She begged her to leave. Kelly left. And still, violence won. Because Kelly wasn't murdered by ignorance. She was murdered by a man who chose control over humanity. That responsibility belongs to him, not to Celeste. Act 12. Kelly's legacy. Kellyanne Mays spent 14 years helping others escape violence. She turned trauma into advocacy, pain into poetry. She once wrote, "Every day of survival is an act of defiance." That legacy didn't end with her death. It lives on in her daughters, in Celeste, raising her sister, choosing to survive. Not because it's fair, because
It's necessary. Surviving the unsurvivable. On January 7th, 2024, Celeste Mays walked into her mother's home and found the end of one life and the beginning of another. A life defined by responsibility, by grief, by survival. She didn't choose this path. It was forced on her. But she walks it anyway, one breath at a time. Because survival is not weakness, it's defiance. And every day Celeste wakes up, every day she shows up for her sister, is proof that violence did not win. Kellyanne Mays is gone, but her daughters remain. Scarred, standing, surviving. Jimmy Lee Brown is serving 18 to 40 years for the second-degree murder of Kellyanne Mays. He will be eligible for parole in 2042. Kellyanne Mays was laid to rest on January 20th, 2024 in Detroit, Michigan. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available 24 hours a day. National Domestic Violence Hotline 1-800-799-7233. For Kelly. For Celeste. For every daughter forced to be stronger than she should have been. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Your support doesn't just help us tell more stories, it helps ensure these lives are never forgotten. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.